Torah Or, Parshas Miketz, page Membeis. Bottom of the last line in the first column. Okay, now the Rebbe was explaining this concept called letters. Letters are made by the formation of the mouth, but the formation of the mouth doesn't create the letters. It just forms the letters when it comes out of the nefesh. The nefesh is what brings the letters, okay, the bottom line of the first column. The letters bring out the letters from the concealed to the revealed. From the eis is a machshava first into thought, and then eis is a dibur. That's what the pasuk says. The pasuk after Hashem created Adam, it says the person became alive. But Targum Onkelos says, what does it mean? He became nefesh chaya. He says ruach mamalala, means the spirit that talks. Shebechin is ha'isi, same bechin is chaya. The Torah calls it chaya, life, and the Targum says it means words. Ki yesh ba'adam nefesh ruach neshama chaya. A person has 5 levels in the neshama. Here the Alter Rebbe says 4 of the 5. Nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya. Nefesh is the level of Eisis, machshava, dibur. Nefesh is speech, thought and speech. Ruach, the air, the second level of the neshama, is hevel alev, the air, shukul, kolu me'esh, ruach, u'mayim, kaneda. The voice which is composed of fire, air, and water. Neshama is asagas aseichel. Like it says, the neshama is shadei tavinam. It says about the neshama is the level of bina. V'chaya b'chinas chochma. Chaya is the level of chochma, inum bakar chochma, which represents higher than chochma shelamayl min asaga. And there is sheidish and na'isius. It says like this. Adam Risha was called nefesh chaya. Nefesh chaya means, as the Targum says, speaking. He says, what does that have to do with nefesh chayet? A person was called nefesh chaya. Okay, v'yodam the nefesh chaya. So the Rebbe is explaining, there's nefesh ruach and neshama chaya. Chaya is a level of chokhmah, which is the source of Asius. So therefore, he's just explaining that a person is called nefesh chaya, living being, which refers to speech, because chaya is a level of chokhmah, which is the source of chokhmah. El shekavim bepeh. Okay, Hashem made speech come out from the mouth. In other words, speech doesn't originate in the mouth. Speech originates in the neshama. Where does speech manifest itself? Through the mouth. But it doesn't originate in the mouth.
That's the voice, Rabbi.
The voice doesn't originate from the mouth either. The voice originates in the heart. And he said, because the source of letters is l'mayla b'chinas chaya, is higher than in the level of chaya. And from there it comes out into the 22 letters, the daber bump to speak with them. Okay? Now, Alter Rebbe is basically explaining over here that the purpose of, like you said, of Ner Chanukah, and understand the Chaymed and the Tzura that Hashem created. Hashem created the mundane, the practical, the physical, tangible world, that we should bring a form into it. Now that form is through Eisis. So he's explaining what is the concept of Eisis, basically Torah mitzvahs that originates from the neshama, a high level of the neshama, chaya, which is the source of chachma, and that comes down into the person, and then he's going to continue like this. This, now we can understand what Chazal tell us, shemetat keshik shorim. The malach called matat makes ties knots, L'kaini ta Hashem, mitfilasin shal Yisrael, from the tfilas of the Yidden. The Medrash says that the Malach Matat actually binds knots to Hashem from the tefillah of the Yidden. Simply put, they elevate, the Malachim elevate the tefillahs of the Jews. The Malachim elevate the tefillah of a Jew. And he says, Malachim ma'alim tefillas. Why? It says like this. Tefillah has to be elevated to godliness, which is ruchnius. Now, a person's speech is physical. How do we get that physical speech up there to the spiritual realm of godliness? So the malachim, which are spiritual, they bring the tefillas of the Yidden, says, and therefore the speech of malachim is like our thought, which is more spiritual than tangible speech. And through this, that the malach receives the tefillah, through that particular malach. In other words, how do we get physical davening to accomplished in the spiritual realms? In the spiritual world, Gan Eden or whatever it is. So that's why we need the malachim. And that's why it's an interesting thing. Malachim, the Gemara says, don't know Aramaic. So there's a lot of tefillas in Aramaic that if you don't have a minyan, you don't say them. Because you can't as an individual, because you need the malach to elevate the tefillah. But if the malach doesn't understand Aramaic, he doesn't know what you're talking about. So you can't elevate the tefillas. If you have a minyan, you don't need a malach. The kedusha of the minyan itself elevates it. But generally speaking, malachim elevate the tefillah. And he says, Gavaya mal Gavaya, it goes higher and higher to the highest world. Shabai Mishka Matat, where the angel Matat is. And he takes the tefillah in a ruchniistic level, which is higher than intellect. And he brings down new letters in a spiritual dimension.
The tefillah comes from matter or comes from form?
The what?
Tefillah, when we daven.
Yeah.
It comes from matter or it comes from form? It comes from surah, it comes from chomer.
The tefillah that we say is the chomer that becomes surah through the malachim. The malachim elevate and creates the form, the kedusha of it to bring it up. Malachim, okay, in Tanya the Rebbe says like this: everything in the world is composed of 4 elements. Okay, nefesh, ruach, neshama, chai, yichid. I mean, daimer, tzemeh, chai, medaber. Okay, inanimate, plant, animal, and human. Angels also have bodies, but their bodies are from fire and air, not from earth and water. Our bodies are composed of all 4. The table is composed of all 4. The difference between one object in the next and the next is only the percentage of composition of how much air, how much fire, how much earth, and how much water. That's what differentiates, but everything is composed of those 4 elements. And you see it when you burn something. So you have the fire, you have the smoke coming up, then there's always a little bit of moisture. So that's mayim, and then you have the offer, the ashes that remain at the end, and then you have the ruach as the smoke. And, so ruach is the smoke, and then you have the fire. So when you burn something, you decompose the 4 elements that you can see from everything that exists in the world. The malachim, it says, the Rambam brings it down, the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya also, the body of a malach is not composed of 4 things, only 2 things, Eish and Ruach, which are more spiritual than the other 2 of fire and earth, water and earth. That level is where the malachim come from. So the malachim have a guf. So they have a little bit of a connection to us people because we have a guf, they have a guf. Except their guf is more spiritual. So they are able to take our physical tefillah and elevate it to the highest level because we can't do it because dibur, our gashmistic dibur, can't go all the way up there.
If the neshama of a Jew is higher than another, how come it reads another?
The problem is when the neshama comes into guf, when the neshama comes into the body, and davens physical words, it needs the help of a malach.
Is Kaddish Aramaic?
Kaddish is Aramaic.
So the angels don't understand it.
No.
So they can't get it up. So what's a thing?
That's why you can only say Kaddish if you have a million.
But they understand any other language, right?
All other, maybe Farsi not, I don't know. But all the other languages, I don't know. The Gemara said they don't understand Aramaic.
But if you need a minion, you don't need a malach to take it up. It goes up.
To a certain extent, it goes up by itself. Yeah, you don't need a malach to help you. I'm sure the malachim help then also.
Wait, it's all a metaphor. When you daven to Hashem, it's really, Hashem's hearing.
What?
Hashem is hearing you daven. You don't really need an elevator to get to Hashem.
Yeah, but the whole concept of tefillah is our elevating ourselves to become closer to Hashem. Now, who helps us along the way?
Our own kavanah.
No. The Medrash says no. You have the malachim, matat, and other guys like that. Elevate the malos and tefillah and show Yisrael. That's what it says. They elevate it.
So you have to formulate your tefillah, that's.
I understand, but our words are still physical. So who brings our physical words, as much as kavanah, whatever you have, to bring it up to Hashem? So the malach is the intermediary. Not that the malach has an opinion in the matter or not.
The kavanah itself, the davening itself creates the malach.
No.
No?
You don't create matat when you daven. Matat is there.
So if I daven Yachid, there is a malach. But if I daven with a minyan, there is no malach.
By Ne'ilah and Yom Kippur, there's a tefillah. Midas Rachmim Aleinu is Galilee v'fnei Kenech Yishpech Sichei. Something like that. Yeah? It's one of the... So it's a Midas Rachmim. We're asking the Midas Rachmim to help us. So many poskim, right, you're not allowed to say that tefillah because you're helping asking an intermediary to help us. Rebbe has a whole ha'or on this in the Machzor. But the Tzemach Tzedek in Shesh Mitzvah Tefillah explains that we're not asking that as an intermediary. That's why our nusach is we say it. Most people say it today. But our nusach is we say it because we're not asking him to be an intermediary as a separate entity. When you ask a tzaddik to daven for you, not like the apikursim, the anti-chsidim that think, anti-rebbes that you're asking Saved Zorah and word this. The Rebbe is our head. So just like the head davens for the foot. So he's davening for us. It's not an intermediary, God forbid. This is our head davening for us.
Go after the head.
It's close to your foot.
Oh, yeah.